Now, I don't know if you also know Zonique, who is T.I.'s stepdaughter. She has announced that she is expecting a little bundle of joy as well. But now, the way she went about this was a little bit interesting, okay? Because she didn't do the usual, let me tell my family and then let me tell the world. She announced it on one of her, I think she got a show called The Mix or something like that. Yeah. She announced it via the show, and she did like a magazine spread where she admitted that some of her family only found out that way. She hadn't even told them before she let the world, the public and her fans know. Take that breath, because I was like, Honestly, do you think it's ever okay to share, these milestone moments with the public before you share them with your family?
Linda, I'm stressed by the whole question. And the reason why I'm stressed is because I don't know what side of the fence I land on with this. And I know this sounds crazy, because when I was watching Zonique tell T.I. live that she was pregnant, at the disbelief in his face, I was thinking to myself, girl, you could have done this on camera. Like, there's no need to do it here. And when she was saying, she hasn't told her family, I just thought, this is particularly strange. I don't understand it. But then when I sat and thought about myself, me, she, her, Anissa, I thought to myself, ooh, this is something I could see me doing. And I know that sounds crazy. Yes, I know that sounds crazy. And that's why, even though I was like, oh, what's she doing? I could not be a hypocrite, because I knew that, listen, the reason is I am a particularly private person, even with my family. So, I could imagine just turning up one day and be like, hey guys, I got a baby. Like, I can imagine doing that. And so, even when I always say, if I do get married, it would only ever be me, my husband, and the pastor. I don't want nobody else there. I'm always talking about having privacy. I don't want no one involved. So I can imagine myself doing it, but I can just imagine turning up to my family. I don't imagine announcing it over the internet. That's what's weird. I don't think I'd go to the internet, but I do imagine that I'll be like, hey guys, here's this baby. But yeah, so that's why I'm on the fence with it. But particularly for me, I wouldn't go on the internet to announce milestones that my family don't know about. I probably just wouldn't announce it altogether. So that's me. Sorry, that was confusing.
I mean, I've kind of done it before, but by accident. It was.
Do share.
Yeah. So when I got engaged, I thought that I had messaged everybody important, but I didn't. And then I posted it online. And then
who did you forget?
I told a big fat lie, guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. They were like, I didn't tell. And they were like, you didn't tell us. I was like, oh, I just thought I'd just tell everyone at once online. I just thought I'd let everybody know, but no, I seriously just forgot that.
They know the truth today.
Look, man, again, I will say again, I hope they're not watching, but yeah, it was very uncomfortable. So I would say if you've got a major milestone, make sure you write down everyone who's important, take a day, check it again, and then announce your engagement or your university or your sonogram. Because yeah, some people get left off the list accidentally.
Yeah, but would your stepfather be one of them? That's what I'm just thinking.
And hers wasn't an accident, Sophie. Hers was intentional. For me, I think that's really strange. Now, don't get twisted, No. Here's the thing. Don't get twisted. My family know me sometimes. Do not get it twisted. They truly, truly do, right? But something like that, I cannot imagine letting the world know before my family. I don't care how big my celebrity gets, because those fans, those followers, those people listening via YouTube or podcast, they are not my family members. And as much as they show support for whatever it is, whether, content wise, and they may, follow me and wish me the best and, really be there for me and have been backing me since day, they are not, but you know what I mean? You always hear that, oh, I've loved you from day dot, but they're not my family. They have not been there through the tough times, through the times that I can't even put on social media. Ooh. So for that, no, but it's true. They haven't been there for that. They haven't been there for that. So that's why I can't do that. And don't get twisted. I had something similar. So when my dad passed away, firstly, let me just make sure this makes sense here. When my dad passed away, I told everyone important to me, to the point where I told my ex-boyfriend, as you guys know, who's now married, expecting a little one of his own with his wife in New York. I sent, everyone who knew my dad well, I sent messages to them. But then when it came to extended family members, like some of the distant cousins and people that are close but not too close, I couldn't be bothered to keep sending those individual messages. It started draining me. So once my siblings had decided to put something on social media, because they are typically quite private, once they had put something on social media, I then put something on social media just to be able to hit a couple of people with one stone. And that's because all the people closest to me had already been told. The people that I cared about had already come to visit me by the time I put it on social media. So that was me. I didn't go to the world first, because let's not lie, people, the world doesn't care. The world doesn't sorry, I feel like I'm preaching right now, yeah, but the world doesn't,
it makes
doesn't
sense.
care.
That's not true. That's not true. The world cares. And I think that
Really?
I think that seriously, and I think that there's a big difference between looking at it through the perspective of you being a celebrity versus you being like a relatively normal person. And I think that if you are a celebrity, first of all, obviously you have
I am.
You are
Sophie,
girl.
come on.
You are girl.
But the thing is, if you are a celebrity and like yourself, Linda, you want your privacy, you absolutely have a right to that. You have a right to, you know, do everything in your power to make sure that your personal life remains personal. But if you happen to be the type of celebrity who wants to capitalize on private moments, then it works every time. Yeah. I don't know about you guys, but I don't think any of us knew the name of her show. None of us knew the mix before this happened.
Yeah.
It works every time. And people
But I ain't
who,
gonna watch
you
it.
said, but 50% of the people who discovered it through that pipeline will. So she's gained something they all have. And I just think, from my perspective, if it was me, if I was in TI's position, I think that I would appreciate it if you're dealing with a family of celebrities. I don't mind there being real moments that are recorded, but I think they should be pre-recorded, and then there should be a conversation of consent. Like, do you mind if this goes on the internet instead of it being live? Because that's a whole different ball game. But if we think about all of these other reality shows, they're giving, you know, birth to their babies, they're getting married, we're seeing engagements. Like, all of these things happen because they know, like, when you open someone up and you make them feel like they're a part of your world, they're more likely to support you, and therefore you're going to gain more revenue from it. So it's smart.
But it's not always support. It kind of sometimes is nosiness. And I just think it's really interesting the way the world has gone, because if you put it, obviously it's because of social media. But if you go back, 10, 15 years ago, before, our celebrities were enigmas, they were mysterious. We didn't know everything about them, and we wanted, you know what I mean? But because we have such access and social media is so powerful, we feel as though we are entitled to know every nook and cranny. And because we are so nosy and because we want to know everything about everyone, that's why these people are capitalizing off of this moment. Because I personally don't think T.I. was happy. Obviously, I've not actually watched the clip, but I can imagine that him and his expeditious self would not have been too impressed with that coming out that way. And you know the way I had to think hard before I pronounced that word, yeah.
But that's not going to change, Linda. That's not going to change.
Yeah.
Like, us being interested in personal moments and stuff, that's not going to go away. And people love celebrities to the point where they don't mind their privacy being violated so that they can know what they want to know. If you're not sharing it with me, I'll find out another way. And TMZ know this, and all those like People magazines and all those like sneaky ones that take pictures of like Jennifer Aniston topless sunbathing. They know. And it works.
I want to jump in, not particularly for Zanique's defense, but just to offer a different perspective. She did say that the reason why she was telling him live was because she was
just generally scared of how he was going to react.
Yeah.
And I know, like, there's some family members that, you're just scared to say anything to, even if they're close to you, because you don't know what judgment they're going to lay upon you. So sometimes it's almost easier to kind of pacify the situation a little bit. It's kind of like, when I don't know if you guys ever done it, but when you have to tell like your parents something, but you're scared, so you round up all your siblings, and there's more people in the room.
That's so different.
There weren't that many of us.
But if you have a lot, but just to dilute the situation, because then there's a lot of different reactions. It's kind of, I think, that situation can transcend into social media, where it's like, you know what, I don't really know how you're going to react, so I'm just going to do it in a situation where you almost can't react. Or at least can't give me that direct reaction. And I know you're shaking your head, Luanda, but that's how some people would think. And I'm not going to lie. I mean, I would be frightened to tell my parents that I'm pregnant, even in my big old age now.
You're not old, and I'm sick of you saying this. You're not old.
Oh my
I'm
days.
old, and we're not going to go back.
No, you're not.
Anissa, shut up. Shut up.
Okay, I'm older. But what I will say is, I would be scared to tell my parents. Not even scared. I just don't know if I'd be scared or embarrassed or just feel awkward. So if that's how she was feeling, then I kind of understand.
It doesn't, but Anissa, no, because like she's made it. If hypothetically, if that was the situation, she's just then made it worse. Because what you've not only done is you're going to have that live reaction where you're uncomfortable with all your boys, and most of them on the show were like, "Oh, right, we." T.I. coming into this didn't even know you didn't know, so this is weird for us as well. And then second of all, you're now going to have the real reaction offline, and then third of all, you're going to have the reaction that you put him in the hot seat and like called him out like that. So it's like, if you thought he was going to be mad, he's twice as mad now.
But I think that, look, the thing with T.I. is, like, I think it says more about a relationship when you think that you want to reveal something that publicly. Like, when it comes down to it, it's about the relationship that you have with people. And I think in this very specific situation, we have to remember that T.I. is the guy that took one of his daughters to the doctor every year to check that her hymen was in place and to check that she was still a virgin. So
I didn't think that was real.
No, it was real.
He later apologised.
He said he did it once, and then it was a joke. He didn't take it every year. He only took it once, but once is bad.
One too many times. It's like an invasion of privacy and her body, in my opinion. So this is a man who was willing to do that. This is a man. He sat down at the red table with Jaden. He talks about with Tiny how he didn't really want his wife to work. He wanted her to kind of stay at home and raise the children, and he wanted to be. So there is something going on there, in my opinion. So the fact that she was
short man complex.
I don't know. I don't know how tall he is, but the fact that she wanted to release it publicly, I think it was because there was a feeling of, I don't know how my dad is going to cope with this. I don't know what it's going to be like. Like, he already has like an issue with women and, you know, sexuality and the role of a woman. He has very clear boundaries as to what he thinks that should be. So I think that's the reason why she took this step, because my man was lost. He went off to go and get weed. He was just like, I'm going to go get a joint. Like, he was lost.
He poured himself a second drink.
Exactly. He was gone.
He was like, there is not enough alcohol.
Wow.
But I feel like he was having a real dad reaction. I know, I hate to say that, but some dads are going to react like that.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm not even mad at her.
She's 24.
I'm not mad at her.
Like, I'm not mad at her for being pregnant, but she's 24 and her career is starting to go somewhere. And I think for him, he's as as any dad would be, he's kind of like, okay, you're finally getting into a rhythm. Like, I don't want you to break it. Like, carry on working. Like, you've got years on years on years to be a mother. Like, try and build your career now when you don't have those responsibilities. So I think he's justified in wanting his daughter to kind of live her life a little bit more and have a little bit of experience under her belt, but
we're presuming that's what he's thinking.
To do it.
But it's a lot of presumption.
But Sophie, based on one of the previous episodes of Ethnically Speaking, I believe it might have been episode 5. Does she really have years and years in order to still be a mother with all our, you know, biological clocks and our biological, you know, business?
If she's 24,
she's 24.
24.
She has some time.
Like, come on, guys. I didn't know she was that young. I'm not mad at her for doing like what she did. I think like if she is 20, I didn't know how young she was. Do what you want to do.
That was so abrupt.
So, Luanda, can we expect a pregnancy announcement for you on social media?
So, okay, here's the thing. If I was gonna do anything like that, here's how it would play out in my life and with my family. Okay, I would tell them that like we're going somewhere. You're going to be filmed, so they have their console on, and you know their fresh trims, and I'm going to be telling you a surprise, so you know you're going somewhere and you know that your reaction is going to be filmed. I might keep what that surprise is from you, but you're going to know that like I'm asking you here to record your reaction to something that you don't know about.
And Luanda, when would you tell us guys? Because I expect us to be like number 2 on the list.
I tell you live on the show. Just see what happens. Keep it fresh. Keep it fresh.